Hello there, Carrie Rhodes here. Today I am playing with my March Club kits from Spellbinders. I thought it would be fun to take 3 of my kits and combine them together to create a card. The focal point, like the star of the show, is this die set, the large die of the month from Spellbinders. It is the Spring Reflection die set, 16 dies in the set, and it makes a little shadow box card. Now, if you get the die of the month, you want to really pay attention to the back of your packaging. It's going to give you inspiration and some good instruction. So I have my tree here that I die cut from white cardstock, but I also cut it again from some gray textured wood grain like cardstock, just to have it, have that visual interest of the wood grain, which I absolutely love. Now, one of the tips on the back of the packaging is to glue down all of your leaves first. So I thought I would just like glue as I went and be, fine, but I wasn't. You really want to do your leaves first because some of the flowers overlap the leaves. So there's my little reminder and tip. And there is one little spot that looks like a flower to me, and I glued a flower there, but it was supposed to be a leaf. So there's a little bit of flexibility in this tree if you so want. But here you can see that pink flower. I glued it down, and then there's a leaf that overlaps it. So I just put another flower on top, and it was totally fine. And now the leaf is behind it. So that worked out. Now, these 2 dies of leaves right here, you want to die cut those 2 times to fill up your tree. Now, here's the flowers. I'm doing the little yellow flowers here. You can see these have nice etch lines in them, which I totally love. It just gives them so much detail. The leaves have it. Here's the part where I thought it was 2 flowers side by side, but the flower underneath was supposed to be a leaf. So I liked it with 2 flowers. I left it, but I had to die cut an extra flower to finish out my tree. Also, these tulip shaped flowers, they also have the etch lines, but the largest flower, the pink one, does not have etch lines. That's because there's a little like cross hatch, like an X looking die. You can see it there in my little dish. It's purple. That is the center of those largest flowers. Now, I thought purple was going to be cute, but then when it came time to glue it down, I just felt no. And so I went with kind of a dusty rose color, and I really like that darker tone and lighter tone, just like I have with the leaves. Some darker leaves, some lighter leaves, so I liked that look better for my flowers. And then I went with a white center. Now, there's a die that cuts out these little, teeny tiny circles, like the tiniest circle that you could ever die cut. But they're really good in the center of the flowers. It's so worth it. This is it right here. It's kind of an oblong circle. It's not perfect, which is what we want for a flower center. I die cut it again, even though I had white ones left. I just wanted to do a darker yellow in the center of the yellow flowers because I'm going with that look already. So there's my finished tree, but think of how much fun you could have just changing up the colors of your flowers. You could do all pink even. That would be fun. Okay, the next kit I am showing you is the 3D Embossing Folder Spring Burst. I'm going to use that for my background. Now this panel right here, you want to die cut really only one of these for your background, but because I was embossing one, I wanted to glue 2 back to back. So I'm using my extended plate A and the adapter on top to run through my die machine that 3D embossing folder. Now the 3D embossing folders just really press deep into the paper. So I did mist it with water a little bit first, and that just helps prevent it from cracking. All right, so now I'm gluing this onto the other piece just so it has a solid back, but I should have waited. I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. Okay, this piece is the steps of the shadow box. So you can see there's scored lines there. You want to die cut 3 of these because you're going to cut them apart. The first one you're going to cut off at the first scored line. The second one you're going to cut at the second scored line. Now, the scored lines are smaller sections than the bottom piece, so it's easy to know which side you're going to cut apart. So there's my 3 steps, and then we're going to put the whole thing together. So I'm going to use some double-sided tape here, and I'm going to have this part, this flap, attached to the back. Now, had I not glued the embossed piece down to the back piece, I could have sandwiched this between the 2, and then you wouldn't have been able to see the flaps. But sometimes I'm not clever enough in time. but I'm telling you, so when you make yours, you could totally do that. I just thought the embossed background is so much fun to add to this little project here. So then you're going to attach your tallest step to the back, and I like to make sure that this is going to fold over when I'm gluing it down, because this is made to fold down so it can fit into an envelope. And then you want to add your next step, which is the one where you only cut off one piece, so it's just a little bit shorter, and you can see how it's creating that stair step effect. And I use liquid glue on top of my double stick tape when I'm putting this down. That just enables me to move it around if when I am bending it back and forth it didn't quite get the right placement. So it allows me a little extra time to move it around, but then the double stick tape is really going to give me good adhesion. So I like having both. It just gives me that peace of mind that it's not going to pop apart. All right, I'm adding the tree, which I have to say, this is a very small little thing right here to attach the tree to the base. I would maybe even sandwich another piece behind that, like a long strip, like maybe the ones we cut off to make the stair step shorter, and it would help secure that tree a little bit, especially because my tree is 2 trees thick. So it does recommend that you cut the trees too thick, have 2 trees glued back to back for stability, because there's a lot of really fine branches on there. So now there's Happy Birthday in the set. I die cut that, and you saw there was a little area you could add adhesive to and put it behind the stair step. That's so clever. All right, now I have the clear stamp of the month I'm stamping right here. There's also a coordinating die. It's the Butterfly Burst is the name of it. So you can get this just the stamps or just the dies, and it's so very pretty, and I just so appreciate how Spellbinders has their club kits, how they coordinate. So when I get all my fun things, I can just pull them all out and sit and play with them and mix and match all the things. So I put the best is yet to come. So now it says happy birthday, the best is yet to come. I also had some extra die cuts here, so I decided I would embellish in and around that sub sentiment there at the bottom. And I love that you have the face of that card that you can add something a little customizable to it. So that was really fun. And I think probably there's other dies and stamps in your stash that you could use with this base of this card, this stair step card, and just go crazy making cute little scenes. And it does fold flat to fit in an envelope. So that's so awesome. Here's another stamp from that Butterfly Burst set. It's kind of a little frame that has an opening so you can add a sentiment right in the center. And not only that, what else is cool about this stamp set is that it has solid flowers. So we're going to stamp inside those stamped flowers. It's not super hard to line them up. And frankly, I feel with stamp sets like this, it's okay if you don't get it on there exactly perfect. But that's why we have clear stamps, and that's why we have a MISTI. I mean, you all remember the days of wood-mounted stamps? Can you imagine trying to do this with a wood-mounted stamp? Yeah, see how far we've come? If you've been stamping for as long as I have, over 20 years, then you remember these things and are so appreciative of the clear stamps. And it doesn't even hurt my feelings if I don't get it lined up. But I've also let go a lot of my need to be perfect and just really enjoy my craft, which is playing with paper. It's so much fun. Why would I get upset about it not lining up perfect? Okay, sometimes I still do, but I'm working on it. So I was able to do 5 of those flowers at once and then just repeat the largest flower. And I think it's so pretty. Like, what a fun way to add color to this. I love it. And you can use those solid flowers by themselves. And look, there's a die to cut this out, which is such a fun shape. I love that. You could use this die just by itself. It's so fun. So this is what I'm going to adhere on the back of my card. And yes, I might be a little irritated about the flaps on the outside of the card once I thought about putting the flaps on the inside. Am I now contradicting myself about letting go of perfection? Yeah. But you feel me, right? Like once you think of an idea, you really want that to happen. But I'm letting it go. I'm working on it. And I hope that you are too, that you pull out your craft supplies and just have fun and let it be your craft therapy. All right, thank you so much for stopping by and spending a little bit of time with me today. If you're interested in the Spellbinder club kits, there's a bunch more. I'm going to link all of them for you below so you can check that out. And I have new videos all the time. So if you're new here, think about subscribing, and I will be back again very soon with a new video just for you. Happy stamping! Bye!